Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. So, this episode, I'll be talking about how Joe Biden is falling apart before our eyes, and Russia is loving it. But before we get started, how about you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave comments down below because it helps the YouTube algorithm. So, let's get started. This is a little mashup created by the election wizard. So, it's Donald Trump hitting golf balls into Joe Biden as he falls down the stairs. And people, okay, so from Steve Nelson, update. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre seems to blame the win for President Biden's fall. She told reporters aboard Air Force One, "It's pretty windy outside. It's very windy. I almost fell coming up the steps myself." He is doing 100%. So you can see he gets up to the top of the steps. His jacket isn't really blowing that much in the wind. It's not that windy, and he's limping going into the plane. He is not 100%. There is something wrong with his leg. His leg, that's where he starts to trip. If you're watching on YouTube, see his left leg just completely goes limp noodle. They need to be checking him for a stroke. He needs to go to a hospital. This is ridiculous. This kind of hiding what's wrong with Joe Biden. We see what's happening before our eyes. We hear what he says and how it doesn't make any sense. Stop lying to us. Tell us the truth, because the rest of the world sees and hears what's happening. And you have leaders like Vladimir Putin just basically flexing on Joe Biden. And guess what? There's nothing we can do as a country because we have a weak, pathetic man as our commander in chief. Let's jump over from Live PD Dave. The fake news reported that President Trump suffered a mini stroke when he walked slowly down a slippery metal ramp in dress shoes. What are they going to say about Biden falling 3 times today boarding Air Force One? I remember they were saying, oh, should we invoke the 25th Amendment? Did President Trump have a mini stroke? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And Donald Trump came out and said, look, it was raining. It was wet. I'm wearing leather dress shoes. Do you want me to bust my ass? It's like, come on, guys, what's going on? It's important, the difference between then and now. They are trying to cover up when Joe Biden's legs literally fail. I watched it. His ankle, from his knee down, just completely looked like a limp noodle, and he could not get up. Donald Trump was just walking slowly, and that was seen as weakness? Or is that just hey, I don't want to bust my butt, so I'm gonna walk a little slower. I'm not gonna have as much pep in my step walking down a metal ramp in the rain. So I'm gonna just walk a little more slowly because I wear $1,000 dress shoes, and guess what? They're slippery because they're supposed to be. Whereas Biden can't walk up velvet steps because his legs literally fail. Jumping over to Dave Rubin, it's time to start a discussion about whether there should be a new election once he is forced to step down. Everyone knew something was wrong with him, and the Democrat Party leaders used media allies to hide it. Plus, they chose a woman polling at 0% in her own party to be the replacement. It's a hot take by Dave Rubin, but he's 100% right. Kamala Harris polled at 0% in the Democrat primaries. Tulsi Gabbard received more delegates than she did because Tulsi Gabbard nuked her campaign. Once it was exposed that Kamala Harris just destroyed the black community in California, she was horrible. She terrorized the black community in California. Guess what happened? All her popularity went away. And she was supposed to be the 2020 Hillary Clinton. They wanted a female person of color who was extremely progressive to be their candidate. And guess what? They shoehorned Joe Biden in. They screwed Bernie Sanders over once again and forced Kamala Harris to be his vice president. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen when you have a new president who polled at 0% in her own party? How do you expect the American population to take that? That's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. from Benny Johnson. This is savage from Rep. Matt Gaetz. Let's see what he had to say.
When it comes to the Harris-Biden relationship, everyone in Washington knows that every time Kamala Harris shakes the hand of Joe Biden, she's checking his pulse, Sean.
Oh, ouch. That's painful. Pete Hegseth,
that was brutal because it was the truth. Sometimes the truth is brutal. Every time Joe Biden stutters, every time, there's a misfire, every time he just kind of pauses and there's like a gaffe, she reaches in her pocket for a mirror and sticks it in front of his nose to see if it fogs up as he reboots. Every time he stutters and it looks like he's stroking out, she leans in and grabs a Bible from her other pocket and hands it over to somebody who can swear her in as president. It's bananas. It's bananas how this guy was elected president, how the Democrats elected somebody who is literally dying. I'm black-pilled, so I'm of the position that I'm dying. I'm 30 years old, and I laugh and say, well, I'm already dying as it is. It's only a matter of time before I die. We're all dying. It's just a matter of when we do, right? But Joe Biden's literally falling apart before our eyes, and it is not pretty. This is elder abuse. Everybody who enables this should really feel bad about themselves. I do not know how they can look themselves in the mirror knowing that they are abusing this old man. From Disclosed TV, new Putin invites Biden, invites Biden to discuss relations in a virtual meeting, provided that it is a direct, live-streamed conversation. So Putin knows Biden's weakness. Biden's weakness is a live, unscripted conversation. Everything has to be pre-approved with Joe Biden. Pre-approved questions, pre-approved reporters, pre-approved settings, pre-approved X, Y, and Z. Vladimir Putin called him out on it and said, let's have a conversation where both of our countries can witness their leaders discussing how you called me a killer. That way we can find ourselves in a place of mutual respect because we are both leaders of nuclear superpowers and we should be in a place of mutual respect. Donald Trump understood that. People like to say Donald Trump was Putin's puppet. They like to say, oh, he likes to cozy up to dictators. Or maybe Donald Trump knows what it's like to run a business. Or maybe Donald Trump knows what it's like to basically at least make it look like you respect people you hate, because that's the only way to get things done in big business, because there's going to be other businesses that you're eventually going to have to work with. So even though you may hate the person who owns that business, you still may need that business to accomplish a task, right? So in order to maintain peace in Ukraine, Donald Trump needs to basically have a mutual relationship or mutual understanding with Vladimir Putin that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing this in Ukraine, and they come to some sort of an understanding and it eases tensions. He goes to North Korea and basically treats him with respect. And then they stop shooting missiles over, Japan? They stop shooting missiles over other countries. It's extremely important to treat your enemies with respect, because if you treat them like animals, they will act like animals. They will continue to act like animals because they know that gets them attention. From Turd, busy being chicken to debate. White House shuts down Putin invite to public video chat, says Biden is quite busy. So yeah, he's busy being chicken. He's busy forgetting where he's at. He's busy falling down the stairs. He's busy falling apart. It's sad what's happening. It's sad that he's our commander in chief. From the Hill, Putin wishes Biden good health after he calls Putin a killer. Russian President Vladimir Putin wished President Biden good health after Biden agreed Putin was a killer during an interview on ABC News. I would say to him, I wish you good health, Putin said, according to Bloomberg News. The comments came during a televised video conference in celebration of Russia's annexation of Crimea. According to the news outlet, Putin said that Russia would have to work with the U.S. on its common interests despite their differences. Although they think we are the same as them, we are different people. We have a different genetic and cultural moral code. But we know how to defend our own interest, and we will work with them, but in those areas in which we are interested and on terms we consider favorable for us. And they will have to reckon with that. So notice the change in rhetoric now that Trump is no longer in office. This is essentially what Trump was saying. Trump was saying, we need to defend our own interests. Trump was saying this. And we will work with other countries in which we are interested, right? In areas in which we are interested on terms we consider favorable for us. That sounds like something Trump said. Because guess what? It's important to put your country first. If you slam your country, if you think your country is a horrible place, the rest of the world is going to think your country is a horrible place. They're going to think your country is weak. If they see the citizens of a country not loving their country, it's because the country is weak. And the rest of the world is catching on to that. That's the problem with liberalism. That's the problem with the critical race theory. That's the problem with this whole equity movement, because there's no such thing as equity. There's no such thing. Equity is not equality, because you are literally going to be taking away privileges from people and give it to those who don't deserve it. America is a meritocracy. You have Kanye West being the richest black man in the history of the United States. Are you saying that now he's exhibiting traits of whiteness because he shows up on time? He has delayed gratification. He believes in the family. He believes in hard work. He believes in work before money. He believes in work before pleasure. Is Kanye West now an embodiment of whiteness? Or is he just the most successful black man in the United States? And should we give him credit for his hard work? Because he proved that with hard work, you will succeed in this country. I think it's more racist to say that he's no longer black because he's a billionaire. I can't believe that's even a conversation that people try to have. Honestly, it's getting bananas. That's how un-American Democrats are. And unfortunately, it's now a mainstream it's not even a fringe Democrat conspiracy. It's mainstream blue anon conspiracy theory. That's mainstream Democrat for you. That if you're a successful black person, you're actually not black anymore. You're just exhibiting traits of whiteness. You've adopted white supremacist ideology. White nationalism has taken hold of you, and now you're a vessel of white nationalism. That's bananas. It's just disgusting. So from Candace Owens, I am asking all of my followers to retweet this. For obvious mental health reasons, Joe Biden has declined a public discussion with the Kremlin. I would like to publicly invite tongue twister. I would like to publicly invite Vladimir Putin to sit down with me for a wide-ranging interview on the Candace Show. Talk about the stones Candace Owens has. She does not care who she ticks off. She will say what needs to be said. She will say what she believes. And that's extremely important. She will not bend the knee. She's like Marjorie Taylor Greene in this respect. People try to push her down. Just like the thing with Cardi B or whatever her name is. Instead of basically cowering in the corner, what does she do? She just spit in her face and basically say, yeah, she's cheap. You know, she doesn't respect herself. That's not respect. That's not empowering to women. If anything, that denigrates women. That makes women subservient. That makes women only a piece of meat in the eyes of men. How is that female empowerment? Female empowerment is being educated, having your own talk show, having people listen to your ideas as opposed to looking at you shaking your ass. This is empowerment. That is just subjugation, right? That is just flaunting what you have. And eventually, when you no longer have it, nobody will care about you anymore. When Candace is 70 years old and wrinkled and old. And guess what? People are still going to be listening to her because she is well spoken. She has ideas that people believe in, that people respect, that basically people are crossing the aisle because they go, you know what, Candace? That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to follow Candace Owens. And guess what? The same can't be said for Cardi B. So that's going to be it for now, friends. Unless the world catches on fire during the weekend, I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a good one. Bye.